Hello, hello! Pete's Packs here, and this looks a little strange. This is actually the second time I'm recording this video, but we are going over the pre-constructed starter decks for Lorcana. In this video, I'll be going over the Amber and Amethyst, also known as Yellow and Purple Moana Mickey starter deck. So, what comes in it? As you can see, you get a pre-constructed deck of 60 cards, a Lorcana booster pack. This is fully randomized. A card, or a spacer with punch-outs for your damage tokens, and your lore counter. A quick start rules guide that goes over how the game is played, various intricacies of the rules, which, I mean, there's not too much. I found that Lorcana plays a lot like a mix of Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Hearthstone. So it has a lot of the types and setup and abilities of Magic, as in like how cards are laid out, the way a lot of the ways that combat works. Like the restrictions in combat are a little different, but the way combat itself works is very similar to Magic. The fact that you're going from trying to get to 20, in Magic that would be trying to reduce your opponent's life from 20 to 0. In Lorcana, it's trying to count up your own lore from 0 to 20. And there's a few other similarities, like the way casting is done and similar things. The way resource management is done is a little different, which is very similar to games like Flesh and Blood. And then all spells are, or not just spells, all cards are timed to like Hearthstone, so you only get to play things during your turn. It has multiple. You can have multiple sequences of combat and casting and all of that. And there's a mechanic called Shift, which is very similar to the Evolve mechanic for Pokemon. So it's like a mix of a whole bunch of different things. Also, you can only in this game it's called Challenge. You can only attack exerted cards, which exert is exactly the same as tapping in Magic. So that's an interesting way that they're doing it. We also have this kind of layout guide that is two-sided. So if you are right-handed or left-handed, you can lay out in different ways. Then we have the deck itself. Now, I'm not going to read off everything for each card. Lorcana has a really great companion app that you can download. It's just called the Disney Lorcana companion app, or Lorcana TCG. And it looks like this. Lorcana is a collaboration between Disney and Ravensburger. Ravensburger, pretty well known for puzzles and a few other similar printing things. My only real concern, broadly, with Lorcana is it appears to be printed on standard poker cardstock, using a default setting offset printer, and I have yet to see any real security features built into the cards themselves, so there is a concern with potential counterfeiting moving forward, but we're not really here to discuss that. This is just to go over the starter deck for Amethyst and Amber. So I will try to get these cards in frame as clearly as possible. But we get Ariel on Human Legs, 2 copies, which is a uncommon. Then we get a rare foil Moana of Motunui. I am really bad with names, so apologies if I butcher that. Which is one of the princess cards. Then we get a foil super rare Mickey Mouse. Now the rarity symbols are in the bottom center. The rarities are explained in the quick start guide, but this white square is uncommon. The kind of copper triangle is rare. The silver square is super rare. And it is semi-foiled on this one. We have Cinderella Gentle and Kind, 2 copies, which is an uncommon. Hades, Lord of the Underworld. Hopefully that comes in clearly, which is a rare. Then we have Hey Hey, Storyborn Ally, or Boat Snack as the specific sub-name of this character. There are multiple versions of different characters, so that is something to be concerned with. Not concerned with, to be aware of. They do have a sub-name that is different. And in deck building, you can have up to two ink colors, which this one is Amethyst and Amber. And you can have up to 4 copies of a distinct card, but there's no restriction on how many different versions of a character you have as long as they're distinct cards. And you can have up to 4 copies of each distinct card. But that is a common, and we get 2 copies of Hey Hey. We have Maximus Relentless Pursuer, which is an uncommon. 2 copies of that. We have Mickey Mouse True Friend. Let's see if we can get that to focus a little better with the white balance. We have, which is an uncommon, we get 3 copies of Mickey Mouse True Friend. We have Minnie Mouse, Beloved Princess. This is the common version of Minnie, and we get 3 copies. There's Stitch New Dog, which is a common, and we get 3 copies of Stitch. And a rather unique aspect of this game is song spells, which are ones that you can either play for ink or pay their ink costs and play, or you can exert a character that costs more than the song spell to sing it for free, which is pretty cool. There are some restrictions on some characters, like the Ariel on legs at the very beginning is songless, is not able to sing, so that's reflected in song cards, which is a pretty neat way of doing that. But Be Our Guest is an uncommon, and we get 2 copies. And there's Control Your Temper, which is an action. It's another card type that just does its thing and then goes to the discard pile. Get 2 copies of that common. There's Hakuna Matata, another song card, and it is a common. We get 2 copies of Hakuna Matata. And we have Part of Your World, which is a rare. Another song card. We get a common Dinglehopper. We get 3 copies of that. We have Dr. Facilier, Agent Provocateur, another rare. And this has the shift mechanic, which is the one that plays very similar to Evolve in Pokemon. We have the common version of Dr. Facilier, which this is Dr. Facilier Charlatan versus Agent Provocateur. 2 copies of that. If Flotsam, another rare. This one's Flotsam Ursula's Spy. One copy of that. We have the common Jafar Wicked Sorcerer. One, two copies of that. We have the common Jetsam Ursula's Spy. One, two copies of that. We have common Magic Broom Bucket Brigade. I believe there's three. One, two, three copies of Magic Broom. And there's the common Maleficent Sorceress. One, two copies of that. We have Olaf, Friendly Snowman, which is an uncommon. We got one, two, three copies of Olaf. We have Pascal, Rapunzel's Companion, which this is a surprisingly good card. Doesn't look like much, but it's actually just very strong because of the evasiveness. It is an uncommon. We get one, two copies of it. There's the uncommon Rafiki Mysterious Sage. We get one, two, three copies of Rafiki. And there's Sven, Official Ice Deliverer, which is another uncommon. We get one copy of that. And there's the common The Wardrobe, Belle's Confidant. We get one, two, three copies of the Wardrobe. All right, then we have the common Yzma Alchemist. One, two copies of Yzma, which is also just very strong. There's the song Friends on the Other Side. This is a common as well, and we get three copies of that. Now, the way this plays, I've played against this specific pre-constructed deck in 2 Let's Play events, or Learn to Play events over this weekend, and it's pretty tricky to play against. It has a very strong combination with Magic Brooms and Mickey, where you can keep getting your Magic Brooms back each turn, and Mickey also reduces the Sorcerer Mickey specifically reduces the cost of those brooms, so you can keep shuffling your cards back into your deck from the discard pile, along with Hades, which lets you get characters back from the discard pile to your hand. And let's see, what was the other big thing? Yeah, Mickey Mouse making brooms cost less. Oh, whenever your brooms would go away, so whenever they go to the discard pile from combat, get them back to your hand. So you get to keep churning your brooms back out and shuffling cards back. Very strong. So each of the starter decks, from what I can tell, are a good starting point. Of course, I mean, they're starter decks, but more so than most games. They do come with several rares in them. Those rares are seeing competitive play, which is really cool. So overall, really great contents in the starter decks. A neat little feature that I noticed is that they each come with a deck list on the side of the box. So if you are looking to build specific things from them, you can see what's in each starter deck before you buy it. But the Learn to Play events that I went to, we had about 20 people at each one. Well, we had 10 at the first one I went to, and then the second one I went to, we had a little over 20 people. And it was, people of all ages, from young kids, between 5 and 10, all the way up to, grandparents showing up to learn. So this seems like a really family-friendly game overall. The rules aren't too complicated, and it's a good. It seems like a good intro game, especially if you are coming from a background of playing something like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. It has a lot of blended aspects from those games. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I've been playing Magic for 30 years now, and I really enjoyed playing this. And I could see, you know, introducing my nieces and nephews to this game and taking them to events and playing, where Magic may not be appropriate for them due to age. So, yeah, that's it. I am very optimistic about this game overall. So, I know I rambled a bit in this one. Again, this is the second time I recorded this video, so there is a little bit of frustration there. The first one got corrupted because of a crash. But thank you for joining me on this adventure through Disney and their new game Lorcana. This was the Amber and Amethyst preconstructed deck. I will be going over the other two in subsequent videos. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, who's your favorite Disney princess? I have a really hard time deciding, personally. It's probably a toss-up between Ariel and Mulan, though. I watched many of the movies that these characters are from as they came out when I was growing up. They hold a very special place in my heart. Actually, Jasmine's up there too. So I have a hard time picking. Good childhood memories there. So as always, until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.